Well, it's just about midnight, which means that spooky month has come to an end. It's been a long road, but I definitely couldn't have done this without my team. So, as usual, it's time to give credit where credit is due. For the story, My Cat Disappeared and Then Returned, Quill N voiced the cat, JA15 voiced the elderly neighbor, and Rockhopper3 voiced the stranger. The story The Haunt. The narrator, who was also Sean McCullen, was voiced by WolfJarl. The father and uncle were voiced by RagingKirinVA. The mother was voiced by Sophie Mei. FS64X voiced Gareth Lorne. Neighrator Pony voiced the house entity. And Claire was voiced by MuseScript. The Halloween special titled Something Followed Us in the Appalachians. The mother was voiced by Sophie Mei. Quinch voiced the father. The brother was voiced by Stanley Stallion87. MuseScript voiced the old woman in the woods. The waitress was voiced by Script Singer. The creature was voiced by Sparrow9642. And Quill N voiced the narrator. I will also like to give a shout out to Scribbler for writing the story Happily Never After. The creepypastas mentioned above were written by my cousin, Jade Maniac. And I want to give final shoutouts to Chaotic Mist and Miyu for the music used in both the creepypasta as well as the Edgar Allan Poe poems I read in Zakura's voice. This month has been a big roller coaster, honestly. I typically don't normally give behind the scenes rants, but oh goodness, this month was kind of a close call, honestly. I said final shoutouts was going to Miyu and Chaotic for the music, but honestly, final shoutouts go to my editor, SanctuarySanity, not only for putting up with my crazy high expectation demands, but also the last minute planning for certain things, honestly, as well as the mild trauma. So, I have been telling myself for months that these stories needed to get written. I just didn't know what exactly to write about until I randomly came up with titles, but didn't know exactly how to word the stories. I kind of knew what I wanted, but I didn't know how to put the words properly in the right sequence. And that's where Jade Maniac came in and really helped me out. And given that she's my cousin, she knows me so well, so all of these stories that she wrote were tailored damn near perfectly to me, honestly. And I want to apologize to her because I know I gave her a really hard time with everything. I just got really antsy and since it was crunch time. I wanted to get everything out as quickly but as beautifully as possible. And I say we achieved it rather well. To anyone that may have seen it, you all know that I posted a manga recommendation, my first and right now only one, regarding the manga Ibitsu. As I mentioned in that short, I read that manga a few years ago and it still lives rent free in the darkest corners of my mind. It was actually Jade who came up with the suggestion I talk about that because I also showed it to her and it traumatized her as well. And then Sanity also mentioned how he had read it, so I deeply apologize to him for making him ever have to look at those images again. But all in all, a lot of stuff that happened were kind of last minute. So these shorts, while quick to record, were very last minute, and I had to look back at anime recommendation shorts I did last year so that there were no repeat ones. Hence the lineup that I came up with. And then I had the idea, or I believe both Sanity and I had the idea, to read something in Zekora's voice, and I thought last minute, why not do some works from Poe? Honestly, he was my gothic inspiration in high school, and honestly, the love for his works never really died. So I figured, why not read those in Zekora's voice? Since she rhymes all the time. It works perfectly. And I'm happy to say that you all received that content very well. Now, as for the stories, even though they were kind of last minute in the fact that I had reasonable yet also seemingly impossible deadlines, I'm happy they all came out as well as they did and were well received. Sanity, I know I always say it, but I have to say it again. You are a genius when it comes to your editing style with the sound effects. And in this case, given that it was our first collaboration together, since she's technically not in the fandom, but I had an OC created for her, Jade, my darling cousin, you are a creepypasta genius. But that's enough ranting and rambling and raving from me. And once again, Sandy, I absolutely love how you don't discourage my crazy as we basically are on the same wavelength and you keep up with my crazy when it comes to last minute things like the aforementioned poems and shorts. But that's enough ranting and rambling and raving from me. It's well after midnight at this point, and I have some plans in the morning, so I'm going to get some well deserved rest. Good night, everybody.